Hi, fellow traders. Welcome to a new week. I hope you guys had a great weekend. You're able to decompress, unpack all those bags from last week, and we're starting this week out fresh. We don't want to bring our baggage from last week into this week, even if we had a good week. Because what happens sometimes is we can have a really good week and we're excited and we dwell on it all week, and then we come in the next week and forget we even had rules, and that those rules that we followed, those processes, are the reason why we made money. And we tend to forget about it because we think we are above them. We are never ever above our rules. Now, as we get better and we get more experienced, we adjust the rules. But we're still going to have rules of engagement, and that's what keeps us safe and keeps us profitable. So, I always say you don't want to bring any baggage into the new week. I don't care if it's Louis Vuitton or if it's Walmart baggage. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you leave it home, you start the new week off, and we're going to start packing a new bag that we're going to unpack at the end of the week anyway. So last night, it was late last night, and I came across this, and this isn't out there. I just happened to stumble across the fact that TD Ameritrade and DOS were working together so that the TD Ameritrade customers can have the option of connecting their our account to DOS and use it to execute trades. And you guys know I'm a DOS guy. All of my other accounts are connected to DOS. Whether I have to pay extra to have it connected or not, I don't care. It's worth it. $150 a month to make 10,000, 15,000. It's a no-brainer. So you'll never hear me cry about paying to use DOS, because it's just a no-brainer. But to connect it to my TD Ameritrade account, my whole world would be complete. That was the missing link in my trading, is not having TD Ameritrade account being able to hook to DOS. So, and it was something somebody put out back in December, January, and I guess it took them a while for it to get started. And it just started this month, at the beginning of this month. And when I got in contact with them this morning, they told me that this was a beta. They were doing a beta test for this whole month through August 31st, and asked me if I wanted to participate. You didn't even have to ask me that. Hell yeah, I want to participate. This has been what I've been wanting for years. I've got a TD account, zero commissions, everything. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Thinkorswim for their charting and their studies, and the fact that I can get the squawk, so I can get the news, the Benzinga squawk. So Thinkorswim is great with all of that. But if you're a day trader trying to use Thinkorswim to trade momentum trades, it's a train wreck, because the executions are slow. Early in the morning, between 9:30 and say 10 o'clock, you may have trouble executing. So that's why I never suggested day trading for with Thinkorswim. And I would use it for swing trading, and even getting in swing trades at the open. Sometimes it would be a delay, and I would be 30-40 cents away from where I wanted to enter, by the time the order went through. So it could get frustrating at times. But I only day swing traded and did longer term day trades. And I don't even trade the fast momentum stocks. I trade slow, but you do need momentum to get the stock moving in the trend that you're trading. So, it was always something. But what I did this morning, and if you are interested in this, the best way to do it is to contact them through live support. I contacted them, and this was right in the middle of the open. I was excited. I could hardly sleep last night. And there's no way I should have been doing this at the open. Starting. Yeah, I should have been focused on trading, but hell, I didn't care. I wanted to get this hooked up. And that's where my focus was today. It's a wonder that I did as well as I did trading when I was focused on this. But when I contacted them, that's when they told me that it was a beta test on this till the 31st. I said, yeah, I would love to participate and, get them feedback on everything, because I've been using DOS for 6-7 years now. And so they gave me the link. They sent me an email with my DOS TD access ID number and the link to download the platform. Now it's still a DOS platform. It looks the same, feels the same, but it's a different login for the platform. It's a different platform download, and it's specifically for TD Ameritrade. So I did that, and once the account verification process finished, it was very quick, did not take a long time at all. I was able to log in to the DOS platform, and sure enough, my TD Ameritrade account was there, the balance, everything was right. But I was already in a position. You guys saw last week, I think I showed you, I was in American Airlines, coming off the bounce. And I've been holding it for a couple of days. So when that trade showed up in DOS, it had the wrong entry price. So it was showing I was red on the trade in DOS, but I'm green on the trade if I look at it in my Thinkorswim. And so that they got that fixed. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue that they need to work on, but didn't take long once they got that fixed. And what happened was, it hit my first profit target at 14 while I was on the call, while I was on the call on the chat and waiting for them to fix it. So when that execution on on Thinkorswim happened, it didn't show up in DOS. And I didn't think about this at the time, but DOS is not connected to Thinkorswim. DOS is connected to TD Ameritrade. So any execution you do on DOS is not going to show up on Thinkorswim, and vice versa. It's just like if you're using an IB, if you're using IB's house platform, what you do on there is not going to show up on DOS. What you do on DOS is not going to show up on the other. So now that made sense. It clicked. So you want to use, I'm not going to use both, but it just so happened that I was probably the only one so far that had an issue like that. And so that gave them enough information so that, hey, if this problem, they can fix this problem in the software, which is pretty cool. But I'm really, really excited about this. I mean, it looked identical. And the process is really simple. If you go to the AverageJoeTrader website, they have just a simple page here that tells you how to verify it, but you got to have your DOS ID first. If you don't have your DOS ID, then you need to get with them. And it might have been easy for me since I was already a DOS customer, but maybe if you're not, it might be a little bit another step or two you have to go through. It was really, really simple. I just typed in the information it gave me and the password. I downloaded the platform and verified my TD Ameritrade account. Simple process, and I was up and running. So really, really exciting day for me. But any questions? There's not a whole lot of information out there on it. So any questions, you want to go to the live chat on DOS. Really easy. Really easy process to go through. All right, so let's take a look at today. Looking at the SPY, you can see we had a little sell-off, had some things starting to sell off at the open, and then we bounced and we recovered. And you can see we closed green, and it's 339.08. We are within striking distance of this 339.08, this all-time high. In striking distance. So if nothing major happens to put a negative swing on this market, the bulls are going to drive it there. Now, will it sustain? That's another question. But we just have to take it day by day. I have my theory, what I'm looking for to happen. I'm looking for the bulls. They've been so predictable. I'm just looking for them to push it up and then let it go for a minute. Take a breath. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Now, I didn't get to take any swings today because, again, I was focusing on getting this TD Ameritrade account hooked up to DOS. So I kind of gave up taking swings this morning. DE was the only one that triggered. We had a small watch list this week. A couple of the 20 EMA crosses had red days on Friday. And typically when you see that, you have to wait to see if they're actually going to recover. It's just a trigger. You have your watch list, and the entry either triggers or it doesn't. And so we went through looking at all of them. DE was the one that triggered. So if you were looking at swings, it should have been a no-brainer. This was the one that triggered. Excellent move. So you could have picked up 5 points today. If you were looking at 190 for your first target, if you got in at 185 and you're looking for 190, your first target, you hit it. So that could have been nailed the first day. And you just kind of looking for it to push up. And we talked about this. This was the number one watch because of the industry. And this is John Deere, and what the equipment that everybody's going to be using going forward, especially over the next year. And I put this in the same boat as the shipping companies that we talked about. A lot of these sectors are going to be hot, and that's where you want to place your bets. Now, yes, it's kind of too far to get in for a long-term hold, but at this point, these stocks that we're looking at give us really good money. So I'm going to do kind of a recap this week, one day this week, on the swings and the simple strategies. Kind of give a brief overview and put here on YouTube. But this was the swing that triggered this morning, and really nice move. All right, so today started out FSLY 5-minute opening range breakout. Here's a 5-minute opening range candle here. We opened down here, tried to sell. This was the pre-market high. We held it. As soon as we broke the high, opening range high, we get in. It pushes up, hits our first target, and then falls off the face of the earth. This is the big sell-off that we saw. So we sold all the way off. We bounced, and I was looking for the break of this channel. There's no way I was going to take this short once we went red. I wasn't going to take it short after 3-4 big red candles. That's just stupid. You know it's got to bounce. Odds are that it's going to bounce. Doesn't have to, but the odds are that it was going to bounce. So I waited for the bounce, and it did exactly what we wanted it to do. It failed. Here, I could have bought it. I could have shorted it when it fell through, or waited and got the confirm move. Either way, this would have been a nice secondary trade here. As soon as we broke the low. But I was messing with my new TD DOS setup, and when I turned back around, I had kind of missed the entry, and that was that. But this would have been a really good setup. We were talking about a couple people caught it. They were on top of it, and they caught it. It's just what I teach every day. Nothing different. The same thing I teach every day. Yes, this was the bigger move, but I'm not going to short it into all of the support. I have no idea whether this is going to hold or not. Who knows? The market took a hit, and everything kind of went with it. So who knows what's going to happen from time to time. I could have shorted this, and then it bounced here and ripped back on me. You just don't know. And you just can't short into all of this. So I had to wait for it to set up, and it did give me a decent move. It's about taking what the market gives you cleanly, smartly, and moving on. So NVAX, this was the next trade I took. You can see this was an opening range high right here. I didn't buy on the break, even though I could have. The aggressive move was a buy on the break of this level, but I waited for the confirmation. I waited for it to close and claim this opening range high. So I got in, bam, bam, missed the cover here. Completely missed it. I did not have my order out, and I completely missed it. Again, I'm fumbling with the TD Ameritrade stuff and didn't put my order out. And by the time I saw it, it was still around 181.15, 181.20. And then it just sold off from there, ended up getting stopped out. So still just a pretty decent move here. So, locked in a pretty good move. I was, like I said, I was happy that I even made money today, because my focus was so much on my new toy. All right, and then we jumped on BA. You can see BA had a nice opening move here, really strong. We got the pullback, and the 20 held, and we started pushing up. So here's a big window. I know we're in a channel. We put in the top and the bottom. Here's the channel. Now, I always tell you, don't trade in the channel unless you have enough room for it to make sense. Okay, if you don't have enough room, don't trade in the channel. Wait for it to get out. And this is why. Because you don't know when it's coming back down. And if you only had $1 in the channel and it only moved 50 cents, then you would end up getting stopped out. So here, a really nice move. This is trend continuation 101. We get in, it claimed a 9, and here we confirmed it. We did get a little pullback, and then it pushes up. Hit our first target, then it comes back, stops me out. It starts to push up. I'm waiting for it to break the high. It doesn't. It pulls back all the way back down. I don't have the chart. I stopped at lunchtime. Didn't trade this anymore because I wanted to play. But it pulled all the way back to the 50, and then it ripped up to new highs. It took this out. So had I stayed engaged on it, I might have been able to get another leg on this and push it up. But that's BA. You just have to know how to trade it. It's a more advanced level of trading. But hey, if you just trade the channels on stocks like BA, like Roku, just be patient and don't try to trade within the channels. You're going to do good on them, and you're going to catch some huge moves every now and then. And then that's what it's all about. So we wrapped the day up 599.07. And this is why I don't like looking at my P&L during the day. Because if I saw this at $5.99, don't you think I would have taken another trade trying to get $25 so I can get a $600 day? That's how the human mind works. And that's why I don't even look. I don't even care what I made or lost until after the market's closed. Everything is done, and I'm ready to do my recap. Then I'll look and see where I'm at. Because it's just like if I'm red $20, and I'm like, I can get a trade and make $100 and get green. But then that trade doesn't work out, and I end up, being red $120. And then it just gets worse from there. You'd be surprised. I'm sure you're not surprised for a lot of things, but you will be surprised at what your mind can do without you even knowing it's doing it. A lot can happen without you even knowing it, without you being conscious of it. So I realize that's how my mind works, and I just stay the hell away from it. All right, so that wraps it up. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do an execution on my Thinkorswim, and just to see how that thing works. I'm sure it's the same. I mean, it's the exact same platform. Do a momentum trade in the morning. If it's on point, man, I will cry if they say that they're not going to do this, that it's not going to stick. I don't think they're going to walk away from that, because I've been really, really impressed with DOS. So really excited about this week and kind of moving forward with that. So you guys have a great rest of the night, and I will catch you in the morning.